What's new, 802? I'm Becca Hammond, and you're listening to Vermont Talks. Vermont Talks may include graphic or explicit content. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the Vermont Talks podcast. It is the 23rd of January in 2026, and I'm here today at the Oddfellows Lodge in Burlington, Vermont. And I'm going to read the Oddfellows little blurby thing. This is a very casual podcast. I don't know if I told you guys this. Please be casual.
All right.
I've never been more casual in my life.
Perfect. Okay. The Independent Order of Oddfellows, IOOF, is a fraternal organization founded in 1819. Its mission is to improve and elevate the character of mankind. IOOF members are dedicated to friendship, love, truth, faith, hope, charity, and universal justice. They are also strive to help make the world a better place by aiding each other, the community, and the less fortunate. And I'm here today with Zachary, Teppi, and Ryon of the Burlington Oddfellows Lodge. And this lodge specifically was founded on December 12th in 1844, which is insane to think about because that's a really, really long time.
I had it in my head it was 1849. What am I wrong?
Yeah, you're wrong about 1849. We say 1845 because that's when we were chartered.
Oh.
So it was founded in 1844 and then chartered in 1845.
That makes sense because it was December 12th of 1844. Yep. So it was almost 1845, even this piece that I copied off your website.
How could I forget?
Okay, so there's a lot to talk about with the Oddfellows, and I don't know if listening to this, you know the building. The building's covered in beautiful murals. It's on North Ave in the New North End. Right? Yeah, I got that right. It's so cool. It's like the most artsy building in Burlington, to be honest. So if you've seen it, hopefully we're going to answer some of your questions about what's going on with this really cool building. And that's why I wanted to know what was going on. It's because of the art murals.
That is how we get most walk-ins. Is they see the building and they say, "What's going on in there?"
Because it's beautiful and it looks so cool. Okay, so let's talk about the history of the entire organization, and then let's talk about the history.
Wow.
No,
Thanks,
it's
Zach.
nice.
It's
really nice. No. It's very interesting.
We'll try to keep it brief. So, the original Oddfellows came out of the UK and quickly did not continue to exist in the same fashion. Or I shouldn't say quickly. Like 80 years later, it no longer existed in the same fashion in the UK. So, right.
Yeah. So, all right. So the version that existed in the UK was much less centralized. There was not so much of a top-level organization of things. A lot of it was people meeting in pubs and saying, "Hey, we're the Oddfellows," and handing down some traditions that may or may not have been the same from one pub to the one down the block. At certain points, there were attempts to kind of unify some of those traditions a bit. There's this thing, the Manchester Unity, that sometimes comes up in documents, and that is an early attempt to unify some of the rituals and procedures and codes of law and things like that. But it was pretty scattered still. Then, so in 1819, the Oddfellows in the U.S. were founded by Thomas Wildey. I always want to say Wildey. And he was a man who had emigrated from London to Baltimore and put out an ad in the local newspaper saying, are there any other Oddfellows in the area? Do you want to join up and, try to start a chapter here? And he got a handful of other guys together and they started the Oddfellows here. Their initial charter came from the UK, but very quickly it took off here and exploded, and they decided to organize things slightly differently. It was a lot more structured. It was very strict about having a common ritual between all the different lodges, and there was much more of a kind of collective governance, so that lodges would elect representatives to go up to the higher level, and then those higher levels would elect representatives to the top level. So the IOOF, the Independent Order of Oddfellows, it is independent from the Oddfellows in the UK. That's where the I comes from.
Okay.
And most of the Oddfellows lodges in the world right now are under the IOOF. So it started in the UK, came to the US, and the form that it's most commonly around the world right now is the one that was started in Baltimore.
Very cool.
What are the other variants? Because I think that's really interesting.
We can't get
fascinating.
into GUOOF. That's too complicated, surely.
I mean, it's complicated, but it's good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So there are still lodges in the UK that are under the Manchester Unity. There's also another chapter of the Oddfellows in the US, which is the Grand United Order of Oddfellows. They were chartered directly from the UK. And there are historians who specialize just in that, and they would be the better sources for all of this, but I'll give the very brief version, which is that in, I believe it was in the 1820s or 1830s, there was a group of black men who applied to create their own Oddfellows Lodge in Baltimore, actually. And the Oddfellows at the time, which had kind of spread to a bunch of different states, and we're talking the lead up to the Civil War, the motion to charter this lodge that was going to be mostly black men never got shut down, but it also never made it to the floor. So people kept basically tabling the motion and preventing that lodge from getting chartered. So these folks came up with a creative solution, which was they said, well, if we're not going to get chartered in the US, we're going to send a letter over to the UK and ask for a charter there. So that's what they did. And so they got chartered under the Manchester Unity, the same way the Independent Order of Oddfellows did. And so they set up a parallel branch of Oddfellowship that was specifically for black members. And the GUF has its own very rich history. The rituals are very, very similar. A lot of the traditions have kind of, diverged a bit over time. These days, everyone is welcome in both. And there's, in like Oddfellows meetups, Oddfellows when Oddfellows stuff happens, there's definitely some crossover. But it is important to recognize that the Independent Order of Oddfellows had a long history of anti-black discrimination. And so black people who wanted to be Oddfellows found their own way to do it. And there's a massive amount of history just about the GUOF.
They're really cool.
Really cool stuff.
Yeah, I admire them for not giving up. Give them the finger. I'll call the guys in Europe, and yeah, that actually tracks a lot with just the time frame too, because England got their shit together a little sooner than we did.
England did not know that these folks were black.
Oh, wow! I wonder.
Fun thing about writing a letter is you can just write a letter.
I wonder if that would have changed things or not. That's
hard to say.
interesting. Right, hard to know. Now it's lost to history.
Yep. When did Oddfellows, the IOOF, officially integrate?
Way too late. It was the 1960s.
But that's, women being allowed in the order too was way, way, way too late.
It's 2000.
Yeah. So it's kind of like we were just behind.
That's when
in
women
general.
were allowed into the Oddfellows.
Yeah.
But the Rebeccas were part of the order as well.
Yeah, right, because all that stuff is from the 40s. We've been looking at a bunch of documents. Sorry, all that stuff, all of the interesting physical history that you guys have collected here. Clearly, women have been involved in this place for a very, very long time.
Yes.
So it's funny that they weren't official members.
Well, so the Oddfellows were the first fraternal order to have a women's branch. And so the Rebeccas do have a very long history, and we're all part of the same order. It is the Order of Oddfellows. It was just that the lodges were separate. So the actual meetings where things were decided were separate. And so different bank accounts, different, organization.
I'm pointing off to the big map we have of the state of Vermont with Rebecca lodges all across it, dozens of stars. So those were separate from the Oddfellow lodges?
They're
Or
all
were
separate, yeah. And also, not dozens. It's like 76 lodges on that map.
That's dozens. I could say
mean,
dozens.
That's almost 100. I would be like close to 100.
Okay, so looking at this map over here, there are 70-something Rebecca's lodges
I
in
think
Vermont.
it was about 76 Rebecca's lodges that existed in Vermont at some point. At this point, there are much left. There's two. There's two.
But as soon as you start looking around in some small towns, you'll start seeing the 3 links symbol or the Rebecca's flower and crescent and bird. You'll see all the symbology in some of the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's probably been just kind of absorbed into the town structure, honestly.
Now it's a bank or something.
Yeah,
Once you become familiar with the symbols, just walk around any town in Vermont and you'll probably just see the 3 links or an IOF, or like some people think it's 100F.
Because the
It looks like
Oddfellows
that.
were the biggest fraternity in the history of the world at this point. What are we talking?
In the U.S. at least.
the
In the
US.
1950s.
In the
In the
1950s.
1950s,
Yep.
we had like 3 million members or something ridiculous like that.
Yep.
They're everywhere. And in
That's so
Vermont,
cool.
they were everywhere.
Yeah, looking at this map, so I did take a picture, and this will be on the show notes page, but there's so many, like, the state must have completely known this existed. Like, everyone must
Yeah.
have known this existed, because basically the only towns that don't have them are the mountain range right through the middle of the state.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where people lived, fraternities popped up.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So-
that's wonderful. I love this place.
I mean, it's easy to get lost in like, it's kind of weird that we started with the like Manchester Unity, GOF, Rebecca's, Oddfellows, like all of the details and the dates and all of this. It's easy to get lost in that stuff. The
Approaching
reason
any organization that's hundreds of years old, it feels like
Yeah.
it's hard to like find a place to start.
But
true.
also, this organization specifically is just so cool and has so much cool history. Like, you could dive in forever and keep finding interesting stuff to talk about.
And the reason why all of that like matters from a historical lens is that like this thing was huge. It was so huge that there were multiple splits and divisions. It's like looking at, the history of the Baptist Church or something, where it's like, oh yeah, every 10 years some big event happened and there was a new division and everything changed. And when you have, 2 or 3 million people in the 1950s, part of a single organization, there's a lot of things that those people are going to get up to. It's not just holding little potluck fundraisers, which they were doing in every small town in the U.S., but it's also, deciding that they want to start their own version of the thing and figuring out a way to do it. And unfortunately, as the modern inheritors of this, we are left with an enormous amount of complexity in the organization, but very few members to make that complexity work.
Yeah.
And even fewer to explain.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Putting that in perspective, like when you said 3 million in America alone in the mid 1950s,
Yep.
that's wild to think about, because you just think of how our population boom
Yes.
was the baby boomers, right? And the millennials are obviously like almost just as big of a bubble, if not bigger now. Like 3 million people in 1950s, that's like a percentage of the population.
Yeah, it was like something like 2% of the population of the U.S.
That
were
is
members
wild
of the
that we're
Oddfellows.
actually like involved in this. So this is so weird to me that this got lost so deeply, that this isn't discussed in our school systems. Like no one seems to know anything about
a lot
this.
of the benefits and purpose of fraternal organizations really kind of lost their stride after the social upheaval of the Great Depression, and FDR came into office. He was an Oddfellow. And they established all these social programs like Social Security, so old people wouldn't die in poverty, and health insurance, and unemployment insurance, and disability insurance, and et cetera. And that's what the Lodge does. The Lodge is a member benefit organization. We exist to benefit our members, to pay for members who, have some distress, is what we say, like they have an unexpected bill for their vet or their car or whatever thing that's happening to them. Member Benefit Society means we exist to benefit our members. We help each other in good times and in bad, and there's a lot of bad to go around. So it's nice to have an organization that really focuses on supporting its members. And so before the Social Security Administration, before the unemployment benefits, you would go to your lodge and say, I have been out of work, I need money, or I am sick and I need money. Or, you would go to your lodge and say, we have people who just died who can't afford a burial. And that was who would pay for that. The lodge would pay for it. And with the success of the social welfare state, fraternal organizations declined because you didn't need it as much. Every small town had a lodge because every town was made of a bunch of farmers or merchants or what have you.
Yep.
And they would get together and, sort out their needs in a democratic process in the lodge and pay their bills and pay their members' issues and support each other and do fundraisers and do dinners and do the rituals and then, all the stuff that we do in Odd Fellowship. But they wouldn't need it as much after, you had the social benefits from the
Right.
I want to say Great Society, but that's LBJ.
Well, I mean, it's a combination of the New Deal and the Great Society that kind of, or the war on poverty and all that. As the state began providing more of a safety net, the need for building your own safety net with your neighbors declined. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's an accident that there is a sudden resurgence of popularity and interest.
Because we're discovering these organizations that say, hey, they were purpose built for this.
Yep.
They were purpose built for this. They exist. Some of them have a little capital from years of members donating money and buildings getting sold and what have you. So there's some capital behind it, and there's some great philosophy behind it. Because the Odd Fellows philosophy is a philosophy as like anything else. And you have a lot of dedicated people who are interested in helping their fellow members.
Right. And it's very pure philanthropy. I think that's incredibly interesting to think about, especially through a historical lens, where you're not... Like, you guys have rules, right? You have rules and you have ceremonies and all of this complexity because it's been around for so long. But it's not like a church. Mm-hmm. It's not like we're divinely judging you based against something and we're going to withhold aid if we don't think you align to our principles. It's like the opposite of that, where it's just community, like pure community, and like let's work together,
mutual aid,
to keep each other okay.
Pooling resources for benefits of the other members. That's what we do.
Yep.
And I mean, a lot of early anarchist and socialist thinkers looked at lodge systems as inspiration for how to organize small groups of people effectively, and the 200 years of history also means 200 years of working out how you can structure a meeting and an organization to be able to address people's needs and not get cheated by bad actors, and also, keep people's secrets effectively. One of the things that people stumble over the secret society thing. We are a secret society. Our meetings are closed. You can only be in a formal meeting if you're a member. So that means you've been voted in, you've gone through initiation, someone has sponsored you. Why do that? Why have secret meetings? Well, the biggest reason is because if somebody wants to come to the meeting and say, hey, I'm actually really struggling right now. I got laid off and I can't pay my bills and I really need some help. Not everyone wants to do that publicly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you need to talk about a very specific medical issue that's causing you problems and you need help paying that bill, that is not really a great thing for a public forum. And we've kind of gotten used to the GoFundMe approach where all of that is out in public.
Well, that's it. You have to grovel. Mm-hmm. Yes. That's the society we live in. You have to beg for anything and make it public, regardless if it's embarrassing or you really don't want to, because your other option is lose your house, the worst alternative, right? That's It's really interesting because I shouldn't compare to churches as much as I want to,
No,
but like
they're both
really
civic
common.
organizations. Yeah.
right, and especially so I grew up on the Canadian border. Everyone is Canuck. Everyone half speaks French. The Roman Catholic churches that are like cathedrals. Like the amount of money that went into these places in places where we have no money is insane to think about. I can't imagine someone walking into that church and publicly letting people, like, within the church even, being like, I'm struggling. That's not, like, they might do it to the priest, but they wouldn't confide in each other like that. That's really, really, really interesting to me.
I mean, as a preacher's kid myself, there's always a lot of like soliciting prayers for those in need, but not necessarily going into details about what's going on.
Right.
Like my dad's church, they had, speak up if you want to have somebody's name, and we can pray for them for what this, that, or the other thing. But for us, it's any member who needs something, they can just come to the floor of one of our meetings, which is just a closed door meeting where it's only members, you're among friends, and tell us you're in distress and you need help, and we can help you.
And it's not just money. Yeah, money is an important aspect of it because everyone's struggling right now. It could
be labor. It could be, time. It could be just any sort of other volunteering.
I mean, delivering food to someone who's just had surgery, which we're doing right now. Yeah. Members who are sick or in distress in any way. The question is, how can the lodge help you alleviate that in some way? And we do help each other a lot. It's one of the best parts about the organization. And one of the first meeting agenda items in each one of our meetings is we ask if there are any members sick or in distress. You go around the room, and if anyone knows of a member who's struggling in some way, or if you yourself are struggling, you speak up, and we try to figure out a way to help.
Or it's just a little therapy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can also
that
just
happens
complain.
too.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just a little group therapy.
Yep.
Right.
Because life is tough, and it's nice to do that among friends.
We have a Signal group chat now too, where I feel like before, it was like very much that segment of our meetings and everyone would talk. But now in the group chat, it's just anytime someone's like, hey, I'm kind of stranded on the side of the road and I need some some help. Who can be here?
Can somebody watch my dog?
Can someone watch my dog? Can someone watch my kids? And then we all show up for each other like pretty much as quickly as we can.
Right, that community structure, and it doesn't have to be money.
Yeah.
Right, the therapy aspect. I think I love mental health. I want to precursor this, mental health care is so important. But I think we kind of weaponized some terms to make them clinical, to be like, no, you got to pay someone to do that. That's therapy. You can't tell me about your problems. Like, I'm your friend. I'm not your therapist. Like, what do you think people did 100 years ago when they were fucking struggling, They would just...
You get support from your community.
Yeah, you tell your neighbors.
Yeah.
You tell your friends. You tell your family. Like, that's not a bad thing. Like, that is community. That is having friends.
It's community building, and it's solidarity building. Just like when 150 years ago, somebody's barn burns down, you'd have a family who needs help, and they'd go to their lodge, and the lodge members would come help either repair or build or tear down or whatever it is they needed to do. And that was in almost every town. Every town had a lodge. It was so local. It was so hyper sensitive to its members' needs that it's really something to aspire to.
Yeah. No, looking at that map is really wild as someone who's lived in this state with literally my entire life. I've never not lived in Vermont. And that's kind of been lost. It's weird coming from a tiny town like that did have real community structure. And right around the 50s, right around this time where when you're saying, oh, these social programs kind of took over, there was a real loss of community. And you can see it. It's like decaying buildings.
Yeah.
It's... oh, we used to have town dances. The old people would talk about this community sense that's been completely, not completely lost. Obviously, you guys are still doing this, but so much of it's been lost, and so many people are struggling to find community outside of a religion that they're not comfortable with.
I mean, it's like the loss of third spaces is a big one too, and part of that is like having a building is expensive to gather in. Organizing people to go to one particular place for like a club can be really hard. And a lot of people just like don't have the time, they don't have the energy, they don't have the resources to just like gather people. It's really special that we have this here. But I think a lot of those spaces were lost, like the big obvious one is like the internet. Like you can find your kind of quote unquote third space in a chat room, or whatever, on Instagram. But I don't know.
It feels so impersonal on the internet.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
It's cool. You can, you make friends with people all over the world, but it's not like, are you going to be like, oh, I got laid off. I'm struggling. My dog died. Like, are you really going to do that? Probably not. Like, maybe. I know there are some Discord groups who are like, oh, yeah, my best friend is someone from California. For me, I've never remotely experienced that. So power to you. It's better if you can actually meet up in person, in my opinion.
Well, I think that's something that like the pandemic kind of did for a lot of people where prior to that, I feel like I was more like, I'm going to go online and talk to my friends and whatever. And then I was stuck in my house for so long, not getting to be like around, other human beings physically. And I just kind of like, I really, really needed spaces where I could do that. And I didn't want to be on a computer anymore. I didn't want to be on my phone anymore. I wanted to meet people in person. I wanted to see people in person. I wanted to like, have fun and do little craft nights and go to music shows and all these things that I had been missing. And I just like I feel like I haven't been back to the point where I'd rather just like be online and on Facebook or Instagram for hours and hours in my bed.
Mm-hmm. There's a huge tactile loss. Like, I don't know, just thinking of eating food with people.
Yeah.
Right? You can eat food and be on the internet and have a video chat. It is a very different experience and vibe. Same with music, right? The like streamed concerts. Cool. Not the same.
Not the same.
No,
Absolutely not.
The same.
That's huge.
Okay, so we're gonna swing it back to this specific location. And this building is not original, so this isn't from the 1800s.
No,
not at all.
No. But what is the story here? Do you guys know who originally started this lodge? And
Well,
We all stare at Ryon.
So the lodge, when we say lodge, we don't mean a building. We mean a club, an organization. It's and it is literally tied to a specific document. So we have our lodge charter up on the wall, and that is the document that allows us to operate as an organization. So the lodge, the Burlington Lodge, started in the 1840s, and I actually don't know the original location of that lodge. It's a building that no longer exists.
the road might not even exist anymore.
The first location that we definitely have a clear record of was the old sanitarium, which was on Bank Street. It's like right near where the parking garage entrance is now.
Okay.
So that was the old sanitarium back in the late 1800s. That was the home to 2 Oddfellows lodges and 2 Rebecca's lodges. And then in the early 1900s, they built their own building and moved to it. And that is now a building that's part of the Howard Center. So it's like right next to the old movie theater. There's
City
a building.
Market. It's right next to City Market.
It's right next to City Market? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right in that little stretch.
Does it still exist? Is it still the same building?
Yep.
It's still the same building. We don't own it.
Right. But at least
I wish.
it hasn't been knocked over or
Nope.
I don't know. They keep on smushing things together in Burlington.
Yeah. Somebody at some point thought it would be a good idea to sell the building to raise funds and then lease it back from the person they sold it to. And that got too expensive pretty quickly. And so they moved out to the suburbs. And the building that we're in now, they moved out here in 74, I believe. 74, 75. And this building was originally a Jehovah's Witness hall.
Okay.
Yep. And they did quite a bit of rearranging things to turn it into an Oddfellows building. Built some new walls, built some new closets and everything else.
Took out some like weird in-ground planters, apparently.
Yeah, there
that,
was like
was in the stage.
a fountain or something.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
like
know.
a fountain, and then there's like just
Oh.
big weird things with lots of plants in the nook over there.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
But anyway, so that's how we ended up out here in this building. Yeah, we've been here since the 1970s.
But we also own a few other things around the state still, like the Gill Home in Ludlow, which is a rehab retirement facility that serves, I think we have 45 beds or so, which is usually pretty full. And we also have 2 apartment buildings across the street from there, which are retirement apartment buildings. One's owned by HUD, one's owned by us, and they are specifically for retirees. And so we have a couple buildings in the south, and then we also have the Colfax Lodge, which is a different lodge.
Colfax, which used to be a toy factory.
Oh, cool.
That's the coolest thing.
It's a great old building.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a spooky old building.
It's down in Belmont, Mount Holly.
Mount Holly, yeah.
Yep.
Nice. Very cool.
But then you look around the state, and you'll start seeing those old buildings, the remnants of the old lodges, all over in basically every town.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Looking at that map, how many towns are in Vermont? Like 300?
250.
Right. There's the club.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of the club. It's like 200,
I think it's
261.
251.
251?
Yeah.
Yeah. Large percentage of towns used to have lodges. That's so crazy. It's so crazy to me that I never heard of this and it existed right where I grew up.
Yep.
Well, it didn't really serve its purpose when we were kids. I mean, it was purpose built to support members and do member relief, and folks were really sold on social welfare programs and or like strong pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. They don't want to ask for a handout. They don't want to ask for help. And so I think there's a few different things that came together that sort of drove the lodge, the Independent Order of Oddfellows, into a less popular position.
Well, I mean, there's this great book, Bowling Alone, by Robert Putnam.
I was wondering when someone was going to bring that up.
I have to. It's in my contract. So it dives very deep into the decline of civic society in the U.S., starting around the 1960s and continuing today. Civic organizations of all kinds have declined by over 90%. We're talking everything from, PTA to churches to fraternal orders like us.
Yeah.
And the sharpest decline of all of the types of organizations is, in fact, with fraternal organizations. They saw the biggest decline over that period of time. And yeah, the fact that we are a member benefit organization and the social safety net kind of it removed a lot of the need for that function. That's definitely part of it. The broader decline, though, isn't fully explained by that at all. And I think one of the things that's pointed to in that book is that the rise of television as like appointment viewing, that if you wanted to see your show, you had to be at home at this particular time.
Yep.
That really killed a lot of these third spaces. Because when you talk to older members who remember the time before television, they talk about a very different way of living. And one of my favorite anecdotes there is that Everett, who's currently our oldest member, he's 91 years old now.
93.
93.
93? I thought it was not. Anyway, in any case, he's in his 90s. So he talks about when he was a kid growing up, his parents were both Oddfellows and Rebecca's, and there was 2 Oddfellows lodges and 2 Rebecca's lodges in Burlington, and they all met in the same building, but they each met on a different night of the week. So you would have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Right.
There'd be an Oddfellows or Rebecca's meeting, and all of the kids would get out of school and just go to the lodge, and people would be cooking dinner there. So everyone would be eating communally. The kids would all hang out. They'd have a space to play. The parents would do their meeting, and then they'd go back home and sleep. When you talk to a lot of older Americans, they talk about that as a normal way of living. That you just you slept in your house, but you didn't do much else there. That's not where you spent your time. You would go to work and then go to your third space and then go home to sleep. And the transition to a much more kind of household-focused lifestyle of, well, no, you go to work and then you spend all of your relaxation time at home.
Right.
And then occasionally you go out somewhere, but you have to spend a lot of money to go out. So you don't do that very often.
Yep.
That transition is what killed a lot of these third spaces and really hit fraternal orders hard because it is a big time commitment. Like, I mean, the three of us are here probably
almost every
pretty
day.
much every day of the week doing something.
You guys
I mean, there
do far
is-
more than me.
There is no, that's a
That's
lie
not
with the
true.
music,
Yeah.
the music stuff. But like, there is an event here almost every single day. And if it's not something run by us, I mean, community members are starting to run out the space and like use it. But yeah, it's a big time commitment.
Right. And to
So we're blaming nuclear family and like the households being like little fortresses across the country, right? Because that's
yeah.
what I see.
Definitely.
Yeah.
the isolation.
A country of fortresses, of houses, basically.
Yeah. I know I was talking about the internet, but I was thinking about TV and I forgot that was like the first thing.
Yeah. No,
I can't come on Tuesday nights anymore because my show's on.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And it was probably like,
I just banged my mic. I'm so sorry.
you are totally good. Don't worry about it. And it was probably like Gilligan's Island killed Oddfellows.
Yeah. Well, I remember
We should
just
go
like
back and look and see what was on NBC Tuesday nights or something.
I grew up in like a Catholic church family, and I remember whenever there was in Philadelphia, by the way, so big sports city. Whenever there was like a game on, everyone would be like, "I can't go to church, like the game's on," or "I'm going to go watch the game after church," and like everything was like based around like trying to go catch the game and whether or not you'd go to church. Like,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Another interesting point, different than TV, much later, video arcades and what happened when the home console became a thing, because it's the same kind of thing where children used to group together to play these new exciting video games, and adults too. Everyone used to love to go and play these games, and then all of them went to Super Nintendo, and then Nintendo is in your living room. And then gaming became an isolated thing, and those third spaces died. And it seems very, very similar. It's interesting to think that something as stupid as a TV schedule, but that makes total sense because there was no reruns, right? Like if you didn't catch it.
TiVo it back then?
Streaming's the reason third spaces are coming back.
Because nobody's on the same algorithm. Everybody's got their 5 or whatever different streaming services with different different programs.
I can binge whenever I want. And that's when I come home from the lodge.
Did you see that that new movie coming out called The Rip with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck? They said they have to restate the plot like four times in the movie. The producers want them to restate the plot a few times in the movie because people aren't paying attention.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've
This
heard
is
about
a
that.
whole thing because the chick from The Good Place,
Oh yeah.
she said the exact same thing, that it's across every studio. They're being told, you gotta say exactly what you're doing in
And
like
why
the
you're doing
dumbest
it.
way, because everyone's on their phone and they want to look up every 5 minutes and be like, okay, I know what's happening, and then look back at their
That's specifically like the streaming, the movies like made for streaming, or like the series made for streaming. I just like watched a whole thing on this.
Oh god.
They actually like start buffering out the series that could have been, like one documentary length episode or whatever to like, 6 documentary length episodes because people aren't paying attention. So they're just like kind of restating stuff or like adding in filler because, it's if it's too interesting, you're not going to be on your phone and you're not going to like.
Nobody's on their phone at lodge
watching.
meetings.
Yeah, is
No
it a,
one.
Except me, because
Except for most of us.
is it a rule?
no, it's
We're very
My wife
engaged.
didn't. My first meeting, my wife didn't want to open up a can of a drink because she was afraid of making a noise. During it.
I mean,
I said, "We're not that formal."
she came to a really exciting first meeting though.
We had a lot of
There's a
stuff
lot
to talk
happening.
about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't have anything to talk about, and sometimes during the meetings we have just a ton of things to figure out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good segue into the way the meetings run, because one of the common questions we get is like, is this a cult? It sounds like a cult. Why do you have weird symbols?
Why are you meeting behind closed doors?
yeah.
Why can't we see inside?
So
We do have secret handshakes.
we have secret handshakes, passwords, we have all the
All of
fun
it.
stuff.
We have all the cool stuff you don't get to know until you join.
Yep.
And you should.
You should. But
It's not a cult.
my big answer to like why it's not a cult is that it is fully democratic. So the way the meetings work is as soon as you're a member, you have the right to propose a motion and you have the right to vote on any motion that's on the floor. There are officers like secretary and treasurer and the noble grand, which sounds very fancy. Zachary's our noble grand right now, so I'm pointing at him.
Very noble, very grand.
Fun thing about if you are the noble grand, you get to moderate the meetings, and you can't vote and you can't propose motions. And you don't have any veto power.
Keep the sludge
Can't
moving,
run.
you know? Just trying to
Can't
keep
run
it
any
moving.
committees.
Yep, you can't run any committees.
Can't really play with committee money.
Yep.
You're very limited in what you can do. You're just running meetings and
So
signing stuff sometimes.
I'm the spiritual leader to a group of committees.
So like there's a lot of, I think when people join a new organization, they're going to assume that there's some board somewhere that can veto your decisions. There's some other
Us.
No, it's literally you join, and the moment you're a member, you can vote on anything and you can propose anything.
Yeah.
And this building out here, the mural, that got done because I joined, and at my first meeting, I said, "This building looks awful. Can we get it painted?" And I was sitting around a folding table in the basement here with the 5 other members, and they all looked around and said, "Is that a motion?" And I said, "Sure." And they said, "All right, let's. Do we have a second? Put it to a vote." Okay. You're now the chair of the mural committee.
It's a vehicle to get things done. If you want to be a doer, it's a great vehicle to get things done.
And it's true. You show up, you have an idea, you propose it, and people like it. It's going to happen. And we have resources and a whole lot of people who are willing to help with good ideas. So yeah, stuff just kind of happens very quickly. I mean, take the music.
My first meeting was in April, I think, or the end of March, and it was. The news broke that one of the music venues more than one music venue in town closed in Burlington. We've lost Despacito, Arts Riot, which changed its name and is something else now, and
no, Arts Riot is SEBA now.
Arts Riot closed and is now owned by somebody else called SEBA. And
you don't know SEBA?
I know it's a thing.
Oh my god!
I don't get out.
Sorry,
I'm too
I love
busy with
SEBA.
Lodge.
Big SEBA fan.
I'm too busy.
Over here.
I have too much going on here.
Metronome
Drink
closed.
just closed. Metronome
just closed.
closed.
Yeah.
Radio Bean is talking about how much in debt they are and they can't
Nectar's
play.
is
Nectar's
gone.
just closed.
Nectar's, yeah.
Basically
So there's
everything.
my first meeting was all of a sudden we have these bands reaching out to us needing a place to play because they were touring and they had the gigs lined up at some of these venues, and all of a sudden they didn't have a place to play anymore.
Oh, and the other reason they picked us is because our oldest member, Everett, apparently used to give, like, there were like some high school kids that just like wanted to run hardcore shows here, and he would just be like, "Here's the key, go crazy." And they would
Hence
just
the broken chandelier we still have
broken
up right now.
chandelier.
Back from the early 2000s.
And they would just like throw these like really like insane hardcore shows with like, I mean, like now we're like really dealing with like insurance and, safety and all this stuff. And we're like, pretty well
Maintaining
staffed.
our capacity.
Yeah, maintaining our capacity or whatever. But like, yeah, they were just like wilding out in the early 2000s. And so the band started coming to us, and we hadn't been really playing shows here for, I don't know, like 10 years?
We did
minus one
We
benefit
did
show?
one in 2004, I think, and we were hoping to make it more of a series, but it didn't take off from that. 2024.
You keep
Do
saying,
I keep saying 2004?
Minusing the
20 years. You're just taking 20
You've
years.
done this so many times today.
It's because I'm so ancient.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's got a big gray beard.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I do. That's thanks to the Oddfellows. No.
Mine coming in.
Yeah, so we tried to kind of revive it with one big show. It didn't take off at that point, but yeah, Zach, you came in and kind of took over the music project right away.
Yeah, thank goodness, because I'm so glad you joined when you did, because we had just a ton of people from the Burlington like DIY music scene being like, can we run shows here? We need a space. We can get you equipment. We can, we can run sound for you. Like, we can do all of it. We just need a space so bad. And we heard you used to run shows. And I was like, oh, that sounds fun, being a music venue. But then Zachary came and just kind of like really ran and made it all happen. And you're like the whole reason we're able to do this, because you're literally at every show, making sure things are like, as a volunteer, you're at every single show, making things work.
Like I said, it's a great place if you want to do. Like, I needed something to do, and I found something that I remember as a kid going to UU Church in Barrie, UU Church in Montpelier, basements of churches, congregational, whatever you, and, punk bands, ska bands. There was a big ska scene when in the, like early aughts that I was doing that. And I remembered those being some of the like most important formative experiences I had. And like, I learned about my community, and I learned about the place I was at, and I learned about the bands, and I learned about the people I was with. And so when I heard the opportunity at that first meeting, I raised my hand and said, I'm doing that. And I just have kind of plowed my head into it ever since. And now we've done, I forget how many shows. I think I said it was over 30 at this point.
Yeah. And we've only been doing it since May
2nd, 2025 was our first show.
Look at that.
And you can look at insert photo here of baby egg. What is it? Robin's egg blue walls.
Oh yeah, before we painted everything and made
nothing
it look like
on
a
the
museum.
walls. It looked just like a horrendous. I mean, it was
like
intimidating. It was
blue.
scary. I got in here and I was like, what am I getting myself into? So then with a couple of meetings later, it was like, oh, we're painting this place? All right, so cool. We painted it in June, and all of a sudden we started looking professional.
Yeah.
We had like people showing up and writing articles about us.
Yeah.
We were in 7 days as a music venue and as a community hub. They were interested in our 7 Days did the Connections issue last year, where they talked about our craft afternoons and a couple of the other things we do, like the music programs. And it's just really taken off. And the pantry, especially. The North End Food Pantry is started here as a member, just wanted to open. We have a building. How can we use it in a way that serves the community? They wanted to open a food pantry, Tom Fleury, and he just started a food pantry. I think it's been like 13 years now. And a few years ago, they finally turned it into a 501c3. It wasn't just like a committee of the lodge anymore. It could finally be its own thing and get tax deductible donations, because as a lodge, we're not profit. We're not that kind of nonprofit.
Right.
We're member benefit, so it's different. So you don't get to tax deduction for those. But yeah, the energy's been there. The people are interested. They want this third space. There's a lot of
there's so much culture going on.
There's
in this
a lot
place.
of culture.
Yeah.
I wrote a post that was asking for help, and I'm like thinking of what I say we do here, and I said we host music, arts, and culture, and because that's
exactly what it is.
And I'm like, wow, that's what we do here. That's pretty fucking cool. I'm like really happy to be a part of that, because that didn't exist in the same anything close to the same a couple of years ago, and you had to go to a bar, and you had to in 242 Main Street on Burlington was a teen center that was music venue, very popular. We are kind of filling that void that 242 left, and the community lost, and so it's really special to be a part of. And
the
I
music
admit
scene, Zach,
that
we appreciate you.
I don't have a life, so I can be here every Friday and Saturday night.
So appreciate
as we record this on a Friday night.
Doing what you love.
Doing what I love. Yeah, no. I absolutely. I love cleaning up vomit.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
That was only once.
That was twice.
That was twice.
Oh yeah, once on the carpet, once out there.
Oh yeah.
Same night though.
Yeah.
Different nights.
Oh no.
Thankfully.
Oh geez. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But I will say the music side of it. Music's interesting because I feel like the churches having shows in 242. Most of these spaces didn't have like art though. I think having a community space where you can come make art in a I had to pay $200 for this class
Yeah.
sort of way. It's really cool too. And I haven't even gotten to come to any of the art nights.
That's
but
that's something we're
really
still
unique.
trying to build it. One of the inspirations towards it was kind of making these like free accessible like art classes where the community can just kind of like share the thing that they're good at, teach people how to do it.
That's how the craft afternoons started. Even it was like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Skillshare
like,
kind of idea.
We wanted to be more a Skillshare, so like we were, at one point we were all like learning how to sew, and at one point we were working on these like gigantic spiders for like a immersive Halloween thing that was happening at a bar, and just trying to find these like how can we like come together as a community, teach each other, and make things together, and just like have a good time. And yeah, we're always like looking to build that. We started doing figure drawing. That's been really fun. I'm a figure drawing professor at Champlain, and like getting to do it here.
Let's just
great.
walk through the week for a second. So
Yeah, it's a good idea.
So the week starts on Sunday, right? Sunday morning we have the food pantry, which runs for a few hours, and we get 70 to 90 people a day for those.
The clothing drive is this Sunday.
Clothing drive is this
Clothing
Sunday.
drive, yeah.
So
Because it's also a clothing pantry downstairs. Which
It's
is
food,
really
clothes,
great.
diapers, hygiene products, pet food. It's a lot.
So that's Sunday.
Yep. Sunday also craft afternoons.
Craft afternoons,
Craft
right?
afternoons.
And we might be trying to do like a movie thing at the same time. We're
Yeah,
talking
maybe.
about that. So Monday, then we have most weeks nothing. No.
Meetings.
Rebecca's.
Rebecca's. We've got pantry meetings. We've got
A board co-op meets
co-op.
here once a month.
Yep. The North Avenue Co-op, housing co-op. They meet here once a month.
Yep.
nice. Yeah, very housing super important, right? It makes sense. You got the food, you got the pet food, you got the housing, you got the crafts, you got the music.
So every other Tuesday
Sometimes
we have...
co-working also on Mondays.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
yes,
right.
Co-working sometimes Mondays, Wednesdays, and sometimes Fridays.
I can almost never make those, but
Yeah.
Tuesdays we then have meetings on alternate Tuesdays. We meet twice a month to do the formal business of the lodge, which is, the closed door. We just do the business of the lodge. It can sometimes be quite tedious. And then on alternate Tuesdays, we'll have what's called like an odd hour, which is kind of a public-facing event, social for our members, but also social for the community. So last odd hour, we had a cozy swap, which we didn't get a ton of attendance at, but we did have some interest, and stuff that was brought in, people would swap, and anything that was left over, we donated to the pantry.
What swap? A cozy?
Cozy. Okay,
C-O-Z-Y.
so these are
Bring
my
some
things.
coziness to somebody else's
Let
life.
me talk about my babies. So my babies are all a lot of the weird events that aren't music. I tried to like kind of revive, and the odd hours used to have like kind of random themes, and then it was exhausting. So we were just like, you know what? Things that are popular that we have done before, swaps and potlucks.
Yeah.
So we have one swap every month, and we have one potluck every month, and they're always themed, and we change the themes. So members were saying like, it's really cold and really gross. I would really love like a swap that maybe is just like, like care items and like sweaters and like tea, and maybe we can swap recipes. And that's where the cozy swap theme came from. Really weird theme for a swap. I know. Maybe not the most successful swap.
I immediately
but-
thought of those like really fluffy blankets.
Yeah.
Like, is that what you're swapping?
Yeah. I mean, like just anything that's like stuffed animals, cozy. And then we've got like the hot dish potluck slash casserole potluck, because I didn't know what a hot dish was.
Well,
Midwestern
so-
hot dish. And also it's just one food. It's just like a bunch of tater tots.
So I like the idea of just calling it a hot dish potluck, because then it's up to interpretation. It's ambiguous. People can just bring food that is hot and call it a hot dish.
That's the half and it's half and half.
Yeah.
Because some people say that, and then the other people are like, I don't know what that is, and I am nervous that I'm going to bring the wrong thing. And that was everyone who was at figure drawing last night. Everyone was like, you have to explain a hot dish. I don't know what to bring.
Isn't it just
I'm freaking
hot
out.
food? That's what I would assume.
No, it's specifically Midwestern tater tot casserole.
It's called Minnesota hot dish.
Okay.
Yes.
All
It's a
right.
thing.
But
Honor of
I added
Minnesota, we are
casserole.
doing a Minnesota hot dish.
The tater
Anyway.
tots are very specific.
Yes.
Yes. So we do a potluck and a swap every month, themed, just because it's consistent, it's easy, people know what
Always
to
on a
expect from us.
Tuesday.
Always on a Tuesday. Fifth Tuesday of the month, if we have one. We've been doing some like degree work, like Oddfellows secret stuff usually, but every once in a while we'll throw in something totally random. And that's Tuesdays.
That's Tuesdays. Wednesdays we have AA meets here.
Yep.
And before that is
co-working.
co-working.
And before that, during the day is co-working.
Yep. Which co-working we also started because we had some kind of open hours during the day where we could like have contractors come in, or like people bring donations sometimes to the pantry on Wednesdays, and it just means the building is open, so we're able to kind of do that. So co-working is for co-working and also for these like little tasks that we need to be here for.
Drop in.
Yeah. And then back at it.
Oh, Thursday. What do we do on Thursdays? Figure drawing now.
Figure drawing. Yep. Which has been really fun. And Fridays.
Fridays have mostly been music.
Yeah.
This is kind of an exception. We have most every weekend, Saturday is going to be booked for music, and most Fridays are booked for music. We have decided no more 3 shows in a row, because we had a couple of those that were kind of rough.
Yeah, no, that was brutal.
So Friday, Saturday, this week we just have a Saturday show, which is actually a Burlington Tech Center show.
Yeah.
So this is coming from the Digital Media Lab people. I remember emailing with them a few months ago. They were just interested in like having their students come through and play music and maybe take photos and then use that for their class. But the teacher put together a bill of students who are playing here on Saturday, and I just can't get over how fucking cool that is.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy. So that's Friday, Saturday, and Saturday during the day. Also, we have the food pantry. So it's in the mornings.
Oh, Sundays also during the day is kid games.
Oh, yeah. I haven't talked about this. Oh, yeah.
Sundays are really packed.
Ryan, I watched a couple of the kid games a few months ago, and it is impressive to see you
so
wrangle
fun.
that room of very hyper children.
They're very hyper and mostly neurodivergent. Yes. I started running.
These are mostly members' kids,
yeah.
we should say.
Well, yeah. About half these days.
Neighbors' kids?
Sometimes just random kid. I have no idea. It's like a friend of a friend,
Okay.
Anyway, so I run tabletop RPGs for kids, and it started because there were a bunch of members who had kids and wanted to come and do work at the lodge and said, how can we keep our kids busy? And so I started running some tabletop role-playing games. These days, somewhat mostly Dungeons and Dragons, because a lot of the kids are slightly older and are into that. But yeah, no, it's good. It's usually a crew of a few parents who are here helping me control the room, and some days it's 4 kids and some days it's 10, and that's always interesting.
I
But
bet they have an absolute blast, though.
yes, they do.
These are core memories.
Yep. It often ends with somebody in tears, and then by Monday they can't wait to play the next one. So
Because they care so much. That's why they're crying. And this means something.
yeah, that was not. That did not start as an effort to make it an event. That was just, how can I keep these few members' children occupied for a couple hours so people can do things around the lodge. And then, they started saying, well, wait, can we bring...
Can we just drop them off?
Yeah, some of them. Yeah, and then some of them were like, well, hey, our neighbor's really interested in this too. Yeah, okay, come on. And it just kind of grew.
Hey, that's a beauty of community spaces,
Yep.
though.
So now the
That's
difficulty
fun.
is trying to find a night we can do things, because
Yeah.
most nights of the week is occupied. I'm always like, oh yeah, Monday night's free, but it's never free because I just forget Monday night's not free,
Yeah.
or I forget that we have somebody who's rented, and I need to add that to my calendar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the
It's-
renters
it's
have been
busy.
a little tricky.
One thing we haven't talked about with the shows is the fee model that we use.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that's a really important aspect of it.
Sure. Yeah. So the fee model we use is
Not a fluff.
not a floff, which I didn't know what it stood for when I first saw it, and neither did anybody on Front Porch Forum when I posted about it. But it's essentially nobody's turned away. So we do all our events by donation, either low or no cost, and the music nights are always some suggested donation amount set by the bands, and the house will take 20%. We don't take anything of any merch sales, which the artists keep 100% of, and the bands will take 80% of the cover. And if the set suggested donation for the night was $10, maybe we get $150. Maybe we get something a little more than that, depending on turnout. And nobody will be turned away, though. So we never have an issue with somebody coming up and saying, "Oh, well, I don't have $10." It's okay, come in, or it's here's $4, and we take the $4 and say, "Thanks so much for coming out. Come on in. Thanks for supporting live local music." It's not, the intention is not the full payment of ticket price, which we don't sell tickets. We do suggested donation, but it's just to get people in the door, to build an experience for them, to have a third space.
Yeah. And that general model of no one turned away for lack of funds is something we try to do for everything we host.
Yep.
So if it's a third space that only certain people can afford to attend, it's not a community space. And most of the things that you can do that involve the community around here, you have to pay money to do it.
Yeah.
And so that is not the whole community.
Mm-hmm.
That
It's
is
$20 just to go downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Feels, get a coffee and a breakfast.
Yep.
And so it's really important to us to have it be available and accessible to everyone, and to not make anyone feel bad about it. You don't have to fill out a form and apply for a scholarship to,
Right.
to attend a thing.
There's no means testing. There's no filling out forms. It's just you are a person who wants to come to an arts event that we're hosting. Mm-hmm. It's entries always by donation. So whatever amount, my literal spiel at the door is any amount's fine, including zero. Mm-hmm. So I say, this is the suggested donation for the night, but any amount's fine, including zero. And then they either pay the full donation, some lesser amount, or no amount. And then I let them in and, give them an X on their hand or a wristband or whatever it is we're doing that night for crowd control. And people appreciate that. There are some nights, some shows where I remember people have always donated, the full amount, or they want to donate more because they feel like it's, so great, this space, and they want to support the bands, and they understand how, we're not taking some crazy overhead.
Right.
We are trying to just get people in a space and let them do their thing. And it's beautiful to see, and it's really nice to have people appreciate that. And the fact that some people can afford to support more than the suggested donation is amazing. Most times, though, it's not always like that. Sometimes most of the people will come in and they aren't able to pay, or they don't have money, and that's totally fine because that's just the way it is. We aren't, necessarily paying the bills with our art shows.
No, not at all.
Right.
They are barely paying for themselves, I think.
Yeah, we're losing a fair bit of money on them for sure.
Yeah.
And so it's the money's, we've decided that the money's not the point. The money's nice if we can get a little bit to help us sustain ourselves and help us cover the increased electric bill and increased heat bill and all that other stuff, which has happened and is way more expensive than it was a year ago.
Right.
Not just for, political or social reasons, but also because we're just using more of it.
Yeah.
Right, because there's more people in the space.
There's more people. It's being used more. I mean, a year ago, let's think about January 2025. Sure. How many nights of the week was the lodge being used? Was it being used 4 nights a week?
No.
I'd say probably 3 or 4.
Probably, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, that's
depending on the week.
That's just impressive for how big the lodge was at the time. Yeah. So now with, what did you say we had for membership? 60-something active members.
Yeah, about 65 right now.
We're getting dozens of people at these shows. We're getting a bunch of people at the figure drawing. We're getting a bunch of people to craft swaps. We're getting a bunch of people in the door here, and that's the point.
Yeah.
Is to get them in the door and to build community.
And one thing I wanted to point out about this space that kind of separates you guys from a lot of the other more fraternal lodges is the intention and point is not just to entertain as people are drinking.
Yeah.
Which is incredibly refreshing.
I think all the other fraternal organizations have bars.
They usually all have bars.
The Masons don't.
The Masons,
Wait, the Masons don't have bars?
I find that
they
surprising.
put on
I think
events,
sometimes they do, but the Masons are more like us than either of us are like the other fraternal orders, I would say.
Yeah. Do they do events though?
No, so
That's it. I thought they were a little more
Yes.
secret.
So, if we're looking at comparing the Oddfellows to other fraternal orders, the Oddfellows always used to be called the blue collar Masons. The Masons are big on ritual and self-development, and they are very, very closed generally. They will raise money for outside groups sometimes, but they tend to be focused on the lodge itself and the members themselves.
Yeah.
The Oddfellows, we do have that member focus. We are focused on member benefits, but that is just the first step, and the kind of the mission for us is to expand that the bonds of family that we develop with our fellow members, to expand that outward to the rest of the community, and to invite people into the space, see how can we use our resources, whether that's labor or money or the physical building we own, how can we use that to improve the community and build that kind of familial sense and the familial bond outward to everyone. And so that is a big differentiator for the Oddfellows.
Which is part of why it appealed to me so much, I think.
Yep.
Because that is like a philosophy of seeing the world and interacting with the world that I think is lacking in some other organizations.
Yep. For sure.
We believe that we are all created equal and deserve to be treated well and with respect and loved and cared for, and we try and do that for ourselves because no one is coming to save us. We save ourselves, and this is a great way to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, and then if you look around it, there are a lot of other organizations that are not even really fraternal anymore, or that are that started as fraternal organizations and have drifted quite a bit. But like, Elks, Eagles, Moose, Lions, Rotary,
Yep.
all of them trace their lineage back to the Freemasons, as every organization like this does in one way or another. Those organizations, they have a lot of social activities and they have a lot of charitable activities. They'll do a lot of fundraisers for specific causes.
Right.
They don't do nearly as much of the ritual stuff as we do. We are pretty heavy on the ritual.
We're really into community theater here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when we say ritual, what we mean is that we have, essentially
Blood from a cup, right?
No, riding the goat.
they are little plays that were written in the 1800s, in the early 1800s, and we have a closet full of antique costumes and props, and we put on those little plays. And if you want to gain the degrees of the order, you have to watch one of these plays that the
You have to
members put
sit
on.
through our community
Yes,
theater
you
Are
do.
there
Yeah.
a lot
to
of
get that
like
degree.
weird hats?
There,
Oh, yeah, so
many weird
That
hats.
chest over there is full of weird hats.
We'll show you all
Yeah.
the weird
They
hats and
literally
costumes.
just filled that chest with hats.
It's so good.
I did.
And so when we talk about the ritual, that's what we mean, is community theater that we do for members only.
I love it.
You are missing out, baby.
Oh, it's
you are
yeah,
missing out
it's
if you don't
good.
see it.
First degree. Amazing.
I like the initiatory degree. So
No,
much more.
initiation is the best.
Yes.
But first degree is like, I can't tell you what it is. It's so funny and stupid and weird.
We pledged our sacred honor that we cannot tell you what happens.
Yeah,
next.
we can't.
So believe us when we say we cannot tell.
Like, okay,
If
initiation.
you want to know, you've got to join.
Initiation is just like such an experience. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's very meaningful. First degree is just pure community theater.
Yes.
It is.
And that's why I love
It's
First
high
Degree.
camp.
It's high camp.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, and so like we have our initiation in 3 degrees. The Masons have 33 degrees, right? Like that's to give you an idea of kind of the focus, right?
And they're really big on like having people pay for the degrees.
Yes.
And we kind of just waive all of that. Right.
Yeah,
There's
Yeah.
a lot of steps. There used to be a lot of steps to getting degrees. It used to be you had to like apply for them and get approved
Yeah, and get voted on and all
ballot
that.
for them. I mean, and now it's like, you want your degrees, buddy? Let's go get your degrees.
Yeah.
I've seen some photos of some lodges on like Discord and other social media where I swear to God, they do an initiation in 3 degrees in one day, and I just don't. I don't
Oh yeah,
understand
the
how they do that.
degree days. Yeah. Well,
crazy.
but then also there's special degrees where like one is done in like a straight up cave.
that place is amazing.
It's so cool.
I do want to go to that one.
Yep.
Yeah. So like it's both sides. It's like you could be getting all of your degrees by a DVD in one day, or you could be getting one very special degree in a cave, and it just depends on the lodge and where
It's
you
a
live.
really cool cave. We're
Right.
not building
It's
up
a
cave
really
enough.
cool
It is
cave.
a very cool
It's
cave.
really neat.
It's got a
It's
great
gorgeous.
view. It's like in the open somehow, but also a cave.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so cool.
So it's
like
like
it's like
a-
off a cliff.
right,
It's
almost.
like
natural
an amphitheater.
Yeah.
almost, yeah. But it's
Amazing.
It's very Google that, listener,
Sick.
and you'll find.
Yeah, they
something interesting.
call it the cave degree. It's 3rd degree, right? Or is it 2nd degree? I don't remember. That is quote unquote cave
Yeah, I
degree.
don't remember.
But they call it cave degree.
So, I mean, we're talking about all this like different ways of doing things.
I was going to say, my next question was going to be about what's membership like, and this is leading straight into that.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
Actually, so like Ryan has kind of alluded to it a little bit about the 5 people around the table in the basement and, getting like a bunch of people together with their children to try and like work on lodge projects. That's very much how it was revived. Like you should talk about that whole thing. It's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, so the revival of this lodge started at the end of 2022.
It's largely a cult of personality of Ryan at this point.
He is not our cult leader.
well,
I'm joking.
it better
dear
not
listener.
be, because that's a
You're not
rough
nearly-
cult of personality. I'll tell you.
You're not nearly treated well enough for that. I'm sorry.
No, so 2022. It was coming out of the lockdowns. My whole office had gone remote, and as had many other people's. And I was feeling extremely isolated from the world and community and everything else. I had read that book, Bowling Alone, back in college, and it stuck with me. And I went looking for some sort of old club I could join. And it turned out there was one right around the corner. I thought the building was kind of abandoned.
I thought it was abandoned for years.
Yeah.
I knew there was a food pantry that operated here twice a week, but I didn't quite know how. I thought it maybe was just in the parking lot, because sometimes it kind of was.
I was confused because it was also like at the senior center down the road for a while
Yep.
there too.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was in 2 spaces.
Yep.
I'm glad they
And-
stopped it. That was confusing.
So, I mean, the building was brick with old faded graffiti on it and like a broken sign with rusted
Dusty
light bulbs,
windows.
dusty windows. Like it looked abandoned. Everyone thought it was abandoned. And it turned out it wasn't. I managed to get a hold of a phone number through multiple attempts to contact people. That phone number belonged to Everett, who is still, I mean, he showed up at our meeting this week.
The 93-year-old member.
Yep, he's our 90.
We love
yep.
him.
And got a hold of his phone number, and he said, "Really, you want to join?"
Are you sure?
And I was like,
Are you lost?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Can I like come and meet people?
Do you
Can I
want
audit
me?
this?
Yeah.
Can I audit a secret society?
So I think it took a few months for them to get a quorum, which is 5 people. So it took a few months for them to get 5 people together to have a meeting. And eventually they did. I showed up. It was, pie and soda around a folding table in the basement. And I asked for a tour of the building, and this upstairs was completely full of junk. Like you couldn't walk through it. It was just piles of stuff.
You guys had so many of those benches too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we had
Like,
a
there's
lot more
just
benches.
so much furniture in here.
And I don't know, I looked at the space and said like, oh, this is a community center. It just needs some work. So yeah, I joined up, got initiated. My initiation was done by 3 people. It was Everett, Roxy, and Chris.
Wow.
Did they have to reference the manuals?
They were running.
Roxy and
Each of them was
Chris.
playing like 5 different parts in order to
I
do
was
that.
I was stressed out of the initiation we just did when we only had 5 people.
Yeah, let me tell you. Oh, and it was done in this room, but the room was full of junk, and so like
The floor work? Can you do the floor work in there? Like
we were walking in like weird little snaky paths through piles of stuff. It was
I
incredible.
have so many questions that I'm not allowed to talk about
I
on
know.
this podcast.
I know. I'll tell you.
Because
I'll tell
I
you
actually
later.
don't think you ever told me that it was full of stuff and
Yes.
you did it up here.
Yes.
wow.
It was rough.
Whoa.
Anyway, so I immediately brought in a good friend of mine who, Dylan. I play D&D with him once a week. We've been going for about 10 years now. That week I showed up at D&D and I said, hey, do any of you want to join a secret society? And he's like, yes. So got him in, and the 2 of us kind of went through our list of contacts and weird people we knew who would answer yes to that really
odd
weird
people.
question.
I get so many strange looks now.
Yep. And most people, if you say, do you want to join a secret society called the Oddfellows, they are going to walk the other direction. And some people are going to say, oh my God, yes, I've been waiting my whole life for that.
yes.
Exactly.
And that's the people who join. And so, yeah, we just started, bringing people in. Pretty quickly, we grew to about 20 members within that first year. And spent most of the first year just making the space usable. Like the majority of that first year was just cleaning.
Yeah.
And getting insurance and the little things that you have to do to be able to use a space.
Yeah, I mean, when I kind of think a little bit to when I first started, and I'm looking around and like, okay, so how do we get things done?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's me. And
Yeah.
then I really understood that when we were like, all of a sudden we were painting in here and I was the only person here for a little bit. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to paint this room now, don't I?
Yep, that's a thing.
Yep. Yeah, there's no one else. It's just you. You just show up and do stuff. And that's how things get done.
It's
really
amazing how things
crazy that like when I first started coming here, it was like I was just kind of given a building. and as like, like a person who can't like afford a house or whatever, I was just like, wow, I have this building and I can kind of just like do whatever I want. Completely overwhelming. But then it's like super, super motivating. And I just
Right.
spent all of my time here like working on
been
projects
so-
and building stuff. And
You've really been so impressive to watch from over here. I've been particularly inspired because there's a lot of like idea having, and then there's doing, and you do
I
a lot.
try my best.
You
to
do a lot, and it's impressive.
Yeah,
and
there's,
I think
I was say there's so much cool stuff on the wall. Is that all
That's
you,
all
Teppi?
me.
That's
yeah.
all Teppi.
So
it's a lot, Teppi. I helped it a little bit.
So yeah, so like okay, so for a little while, okay, all right, hold on. So I actually knew what the Oddfellows were before I joined, and I'm one of the few people who
When'd
I think
you
did
join?
that. I joined a year and a few
2024?
months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, like December 2024
Wow.
was my initiation, but I had been hanging out here since like October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been coming to events and stuff.
Yeah, I was like, but I was living in like the Upper Valley and Randolph, so I found out about it from seeing Join or Die, which is a movie based on Bowling Alone, the book that we had referenced earlier. And there's a segment with the Oddfellows in it. And I was like, that seems cool and interesting. And then I was working on a project, and this account was following the project that I was working on. And I was like, what's going on here? And then I became more interested. So I had been living in the Upper Valley, which is like about an hour and a half south of here, like following them since like probably when you started, like 2022.
So Skunk was the one who started the Instagram.
Yeah.
And Skunk joined in January 23.
So that's probably
So,
when I found out
yes.
about it.
It was like, got Dylan in, and then Skunk came in the next initiation after that. So it would have been January or February when they started the
I can't even
Instagram.
imagine how chaotic those first few like meetings.
Yeah,
of-
you can. It's exactly as chaotic as it is now.
Yeah, but you don't have all the experience you have now from them. I mean, you really came in and you had a couple people who had been here forever, who've been like the rock of giving us Roxy and Everett and their grandchildren, great grandchildren,
Great.
great grandchild.
Yeah.
Great.
Brandon didn't join until I'd been there for about a year and a half.
Oh,
But he had
okay.
been participating since he was
A
like
baby.
6.
Yeah.
Because his like entire family was part of the Oddfellows, like heavy into the Oddfellows.
But you come into this place and you have just like the frame of reference you have for like what this place should be and what it should like in an operating, efficient organization that can do things. And you just, it's been amazing to watch, and I can't imagine how difficult those first several months would have been.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I joined, it was like, it was still kind of in that infancy a little bit. And I think like the first round of people that you had brought in started like, getting busy and drifting off a little bit. And then I just recruited my friends, and that's just kind of how it goes. You just like find a person who becomes really obsessed and then starts like just being motivated enough and having enough time to just do their little projects, and we just build on each other, and eventually we come to here. So when I first joined, a lot of what I was doing was you had showed me some like old letters and some albums, which I had shown you earlier. I started pulling them out prior to this to be like, look at these cool letters that I found in like a secret like storage spot in the wall in the ceiling. Literally. So I just started going through all of these things and just like the history, not just Oddfellows history, but the local history was like really amazing. And I just became completely obsessed, and then got access to the Grand Lodge storage unit of everything from all of the 76 or whatever closed lodges across all of Vermont just ended up in a storage unit. And a lot of this stuff is a combination of things that I found here and things that I was like pulling out of the storage unit anytime I found something cool, because I was just it was my special interest, like straight up for 6 months. It's like all I did was go through weird Oddfellow stuff and then stick them on these walls.
And there's still room.
There's still room, and I'm still doing
could-
it. I just got that cabinet over there. There's like a nice little light up cabinet, and I'm like trying to make it look like a museum. And then there's like other rooms that we need to paint and clean up, and I'll put more things on the walls. It's never going to stop with me.
Oh, every time I come here, there's always something new to look at.
Yeah.
And I've been enjoying it. I've been coming for the shows because we needed a.
You were at
place
our
to
first
play.
show, I think.
Was I really? I might
Yeah.
have been. Yeah, that tracks. I'm friends with Fisher. We
that
should
makes
mention
sense.
Fisher. Thank you,
Yeah.
Fisher.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Fisher.
Fisher's the best.
We love you, Fisher.
Fisher really helped with the
Unofficial
sound stuff.
Oddfellow. He's not an Oddfellow, and he'll never be one. And
He's
he
not
said
gonna,
he doesn't want to.
He's not going to never be one. He's just pardon me. He's not going to never be one, but he's said he's just feels too busy.
Oh, okay.
He has
That's
6 billion
Yet
projects.
he does everything here.
Well,
all
he's
the time.
like a savant, music whatever person, and he wants to tour and do all that stuff, and that makes sense.
His brother
Let's go do
lived
it,
in my
brother.
house.
That's funny.
I love Fisher.
He works with my wife.
Wow.
They work together.
Why we all
Small
know
world.
Fisher.
So many connections.
know,
Vermont's
right?
such a small town. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
My first experience with Odd Fellowship was my dad moved to Maine in the early aughts, and there was this weird old building in Deer Isle, Stonington, Maine, which is an island off the coast, down east. It's very rural, didn't have great internet, didn't have great power. Anytime there was a storm, we lost internet and power and phone and blah, blah, blah. But there was this really cool old building right on the water, and it had 3 links on the front of it: red, blue, red, white, and blue. Or what is it? White, blue, and red. Excuse me. We have a different order.
I think they swap
I bet
them
it's different
sometimes.
everywhere you go.
And sometimes the links are flipped upside down, and we don't know what we're doing. It's fine.
It's all folk art. Like,
Yeah,
it's just...
It was such a weird old building, and I thought it was so interesting. And I, looked it up at some point on the internet and did a little reading, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And just kind of locked that away for years and years. And then, time happened and things went by and life was complicated. And I came out of like a very deep depression and was like, could breathe for the first time and said, wow, I should probably like do things, because that's like a really great way to feel better about myself and the community, is to start building community. So I remembered previous interactions with Ryon, and I knew of his joining of the lodge, and I saw him painting the outside, and I saw this progress, and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And that's Oddfellows. I remember those guys. I remember reading about them, and I was like, yeah, I'll join them sometime. And then continued through some depression and continued through life and all this other shit. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get to that eventually. And then it just, life has a way of working out sometimes. When I finally join, and my first meeting is like, all of a sudden we should turn into a music venue. And I just fell in love with that.
Yeah. Perfect timing. Absolutely perfect timing.
Sometimes timing is amazing like that. Like, even if you think about it for a really long time, then all of a sudden it just fits. Like, it's perfect. Like, could it have ever been perfect 6 years ago? Maybe not.
Yep.
And people
time.
give me some gratitude for it. And I'm like, sometimes it just doesn't feel like work, which is amazing.
That's the best part.
And sometimes it does, but most of the time it doesn't. And it's amazing.
I feel
just
the same
fun.
way about this space. Like, a lot of the time I'm just here because I'm having fun.
I mean,
And I'm with my friends.
when I first started being very involved, my wife was kind of concerned.
Yep.
That makes sense. My friends were concerned because they thought I joined a cult.
Exactly.
Yes,
So my wife was kind of concerned. I just took a sworn oath on my sacred honor not to tell her what I was doing. Yep. She was concerned by that, and she was concerned. I was spending a lot of time at this place. All of a sudden, she said, "Is somebody making you go there? Do you need to be?" And I'm like, I don't need to be there, but I need to be there because I have stuff to do. Like, I need to, I have things that I have a vision for how I would like things to be, and it's not currently. And so I need to work towards that to make it the way of my vision, and hopefully not get too attached to that vision, because, it's a group project. So, initially it was like, all right, I'm spending a lot of time doing this stuff, but I'm having so much fun. And why am I having so much fun? It's because I'm literally building community where I didn't have one. And, coming out of my depression and father's death and things like that, and then coming into, a few years later into this kind of like blossoming of cultural arts stuff, just feels so nice. It feels lovely.
I mean, one of the important parts about what we do that is not true for Oddfellows everywhere, but I think it is more dominant in our order than elsewhere, is that even our charitable projects or kind of our good works, the things that we do, we don't raise money for things a lot. We don't
we donate a lot of money. Like, there's a lot of stuff in the brochure about money we donate.
There's a lot of stuff in the brochure.
Yeah.
But a lot of what we do is we find ways to do stuff with our hands.
Right.
And
It's more action.
because you know what? Like, raising money sucks. I've done a billion cold calls in my life. I've worked for many nonprofits and had to try to do that. And it is the worst. And even if you're doing it for the best cause in the world, it still sucks. But you know what's great is like actually doing something good with your hands.
Yeah. And
one usually informs the other. As soon as you start doing things, people started paying attention to us.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, we had this groundswell of support that Fisher was able to turn into a GoFundMe to purchase brand new, or not all brand new, but new to us, sound equipment that was so much superior to what we had previously. We had giant Carvin brand non-powered monitors, which are just huge and not that great sounding.
Which we inherited all of this stuff from the closed music venues, by the way, and 242 was some of it. I think those big monitors were from 242.
I think those were gyms.
Or they were
my
gyms. They were
Yep.
Jim's basement.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what it was.
Local Burlington music people.
I
will
was trying to
understand that
remember
reference.
which one. It was Jim's. That's almost cooler. But yeah, and yeah, Fisher's fundraising, holy crap,
Fisher
changed the game.
Just wanted to. He finally kind of got it. I don't think he understood what we were doing for several months, but he finally kind of got it. And he said, "Okay, so I can just do what I want, basically, and I can make this how I want, and then this can be my baby in some ways." He finally understood that, like, we are just trying to do something different here. We're trying to do something that is community oriented, not some like hierarchical top down. We need everybody to follow this strict rule and this whatever, but we are doing something that's intended to build community, give a space to people who need a space, and just let people have fun in a wholesome way.
Yeah.
The hands-on thing, I just wanted to swing back to hands-on with Fisher, hands-on with all of you. Everyone's putting in all of this effort. We live in such a weird commercialized world where it's so easy for me to donate money. Like, okay, here's $50 or whatever. It doesn't mean as much, though. And the craziest thing about the world and our weird capitalistic structure, that $50 handed to a company will go 2 inches.
Yeah.
That $50 handed to people like the food pantry here
Yes.
is going to mean so much more. Like, that time put into it, not only does it actually make you feel better, like putting the effort in is a very rewarding thing, but you can do so much more with the little bit you have when you have the DIY approach to life, which I've always had the DIY approach. I like doing my own stuff. If I can do it myself, I'd much rather do it myself because I can get so much further than I would if I paid someone. So if you have the wherewithal to come and put your hands in and work.
Yeah.
And it's a great vehicle for people who want to get things done. If you have a vision for something that there's a need in the society, in the local community that you need to fill, you want to fill, you can probably get a bench of people who are interested in supporting you. And that's how the pantry started. That's how every other social good that we've done here started. Is it just started as an idea, and then a couple people were interested, and then all of a sudden, when you do it enough times, if you build it, they will come. And the pantry is an institution now. It hasn't joined the food bank, the local Vermont food bank, but they serve hundreds of people a month, and serve the clothing, the hygiene, etc. They do great work. We had a great push from people to be interested in the music, and so now we have music here almost every weekend. It's beautiful.
I've described it before as like a nonprofit incubator.
Yeah.
Because if you know a certain type of person, they have 100 different ideas for nonprofits they'd love to start.
Yeah.
And if you've ever started a nonprofit before, it's a real pain in the ass.
Yep.
And if you're here, you know what? The organization, the lodge, takes care of the taxes and the bank accounts and all of that annoying stuff. And you just get to come up with an idea, ask for some funds to get it started from the lodge itself, convince the fellow members that it's worth doing, and you've got the money. And then you go do the thing with a group of people who are happy to help do a thing. And a lot of the ideas that people come up with don't go anywhere. And someone tries something and it just flops completely. And you know what?
Yeah.
That's okay, because that's how we figure out the stuff that works.
Exactly.
That's some of our events aren't well attended. Sometimes we have a craft afternoon that has no attendees. It's just me hanging out, or it's me and another member hanging out, and we'll just talk. Or we'll have 4 or 5 people turn up, and they're all doing something interesting. So I think the important part of it has been the regularity. Having a schedule that's predictable is so big for this community group. Because, every week we know Mondays these things are happening, Saturdays these things are happening, Tuesdays these things are happening, and hopefully I'll start remembering Monday nights. But, it's it's a beautiful thing, and I think the important thing is to just try and keep regularity, even if people aren't necessarily showing up, because just feel the dreams. If you build it, they will come, and they do. They have, and they'll probably continue to.
Also, side note, you don't have to be as active as us to be a part of this. Like I feel like we three are a little obsessive and over the top in how
I think it's called on the spectrum.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. No, I mean, yes. For me, absolutely.
I feel that in my bones
Yeah.
deeply. Like, yeah.
And I'm kidding, but it's a real point. You know, we don't expect everybody to be as active as we are. We expect people to be as active as their ability, and it doesn't mean their ability is going to be the same all across time. We all have peaks and valleys. We all have more times when, you know, all of us have had to skip meetings or social events because we've had personal things going on, and that happens across the lodge. And you know, it can be to a greater or lesser extent because some people are in very different positions. You know, I'm married with no kids. Some people have 2 kids. Some people have more. Blah blah blah. You know, they have lives going on. People have parents. People have spouses. People have close family, far family, and you know, life is very difficult to manage. And so I think it's important, as the noble grand that I made in my initial speech, that people choose their family and, you know, make sure they spend time with their loved ones and don't focus on being involved if they can't be. You know, we want you to be here. We want to hang out with you. We love you guys. We want to see you, but we don't want to force you to be here if you're busy and if your kids need you and if you need to spend family dinner instead of going to the lodge meeting. Like, do your family dinner, man.
That's where the beauty of the lodge growing is.
Yeah.
Right?
So we've started doing dinners before our meetings. It could try and entice people. We have volunteers who we just did a kind of Italian themed. Someone made a baked ziti, brought a loaf of bread. You know, try and get people to come here, have their bellies full, and then sit through a boring meeting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one of the funny things, right? Like, 3 of us are probably the 3 most active people time-wise at this point. If we'd done this interview a year and a half ago,
Totally different people.
you 2 wouldn't have been here.
Yep.
There would have been 2 different Oddfellows here. I know exactly who I'm picturing in my head. And if we'd gone back a year and a half before that, it would have been different people entirely too. And the people I'm thinking of are still people who come to meetings and are still active and involved in things, but they had other life circumstances come up, or some of them just burned out. Like, if you've ever done the nonprofit thing before, you know, like, if you're putting 60 hours a week into a thing, you burn out quick.
Yes.
The part of why this organizational structure has 200 years of staying power is that it kind of does solve that problem, because you throw yourself into a project real hard and you burn out. And then what do? Well, you show up at meetings and you kind of sit there quietly, but also you get to see your friends.
Right,
Or
you're
you
still
don't-
part of it,
yeah.
even if you're not. Like that ebb and flow of being, it's the same in a family, right? Or any other group where you don't have to be 100% on all the time.
Sometimes a member who hasn't shown up in a while will show up and say, "Oh, you know, I'm so sorry I haven't been able to show up." And like, we don't care that you haven't been able. We just love that you're here.
Totally fine. I mean, it's like really nice. It's a nice treat when members who have stepped away for whatever reason decide to come back, because again, we have these like very structured kind of events that happen every single week.
We have a newsletter that goes
We
out
have a
by email.
newsletter. Yeah, like, you know, we welcome people back whenever they're able to come and hang with us and, you know, maybe do a little bit of work if they have the capability. Other than that,
But like the social and fraternal aspects and the ritual, honestly, really do help to fix the burnout problem. It gives people a thing to fall back on, where it's like, oh, I can just go
I can
there and
make
hang with
dinner
my
at least.
friends.
I can just come to dinner. I can't make the meeting, but I can come to the dinner.
Yeah.
right? Which happened this week.
Yeah.
Right.
And so even when people burn out, you know what? They get restored pretty quickly and they jump back into something else, because you can't keep them down.
Yeah. And the more people that join, the less important it is that one individual person put all that weight on their shoulders. So you have been this guiding stone, apparently.
Well,
I don't do anything with the lodge anymore. It's great.
Well,
I just get to show up at things and do a little work.
No. Okay. So the
He's
thing
being
about
too
Ryan is that he's graduated from the lodge and is now way too important in the statewide organization and likely growing to the actual like international order.
Yeah, I have a problem.
Yeah, you're
A glutton for punishment.
Yeah.
you're in different leadership now.
Yeah. But I don't have any lodge leadership roles these days.
No, you
and
don't.
That is great. And I mean, honestly, like some of my like, I don't know, angels singing from the sky kind of moments here were when somebody asked me about an event that was happening and I realized I had no idea what they were talking about.
That's
The
awesome.
best feeling in the world.
That's awesome.
Like, oh,
That's how I felt with the figure drawing started up.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I don't have to worry
I
about
know.
that night.
I'm
Yeah.
still involved, unfortunately.
like, oh, people are just doing things and making them happen, and I don't need my fingers in any of these pies, and it's lovely.
I don't need to think about what happens on Monday nights, Wednesday nights, Thursday nights.
But now you're going from trying to revive a lodge to trying to revive an entire organization. I mean, the state organization is in dire straits right now. Like, it's bad. And our lodge is trying to pump people into Grand Lodge so that it survives.
It's going to get better. It sounds like
Yeah.
it is.
It's
I
going to
actually
get better,
think
but
this
it's
is
going to
gonna
take some
grow.
time.
But that's how the
Right.
whole organization is right now. It's just like
It's a little
aging
precarious
out,
in
and
a
it's
like
scary.
a weird top-heavy sort of way, where it's like there's all this order coming here from Grand Lodge, and then if there's not anybody in there to sustain it, then all of a sudden the whole thing just kind of collapses.
Yep. Well, because, I mean, again, the whole structure was built for an organization with 3 million people.
With a lodge in every town.
Yeah.
Right.
And you lose that base, and all of a sudden, it looks very top heavy because the most involved people are the ones who keep at it and make it to the top.
Right.
And then you look around and you realize, oh, those are the only people who are left, and they're spending all of their time doing paperwork
Because they just
Right, 'cause
live for the love of the game.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Because it was created to be this
You
complex.
just really wanted to do some tax paperwork. That's what you wanted. You said, that's what I need in my life.
No, what happened is I showed up and
Ask questions.
too many people died, and everyone looked around and said, "Who can do this?"
You're like
Who's
the
not
keeper
gonna
of
die
the
in the next
knowledge
couple
show.
years?
Like that's very modest because you have big history brain. You remember
love history.
everything.
It's true.
So you remember like everything from the history of the order, but then also just like the Vermont-based history and all the things that all these like random odd fellows who you've talked to in the state. You just know everything, and no one has that. No one has that.
Super
It's just you.
I
You
know
have
it's
to
a
keep
problem.
It going.
So, I mean, one of the first things that I did when I became Noble Grand was tried to get our bylaws changed so that we met every week instead of every other week, so that we can put 2 people into the state level organization every year, because in order to join the state level organization, you have to have served a term as Noble Grand. So it used to be 1 a year we could put in, and now we're putting in 2, and that's,
We're taking it over.
we're trying to get more hands at that table, because I mean the statewide organization we are the board of a
You
really
want to
important
give like a
nursing home.
little like background of like the lodge, the Grand Lodge, Sovereign Grand Lodge.
Yeah. I mean, a little. People can read our zine. How's
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Oh yeah, we made a scene.
Yeah, you should talk about
Insert
this.
photo of Zine here.
So, but these greater organizations have like property
Yeah.
and money, and when those folks die,
Yeah.
it's gone or it
Right.
just falls apart.
Right. it
Dozens
just
of
gets
bank
so
accounts
convoluted.
across multiple states with different types of weird investments that they've inherited from somebody who willed it to us 25 years ago.
You said
Right.
you said
And-
something the other day about some Canadian stock. I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do we
yeah.
do
The
with
weird
that?
Canadian stock that we can't get access to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
That
that
I get
story.
I get dividend payments from it like once every 2 years, and I have no idea how to move that stock across the border because the Vermont Grand Lodge used to have, I think, 3 or 4 lodges across the border in Quebec
Yeah.
that were English speaking, but they decided to join the Vermont Grand Lodge instead of the Quebec Grand Lodge. So anyway, when you get like the higher up you get in these organizations, the less fun you have. It is more paperwork.
As the leader of
It
the
is-
lodge, I agree.
More
Yep.
Yeah.
rigid.
You get no more power. There's no power. You just have more paperwork.
You just
Yeah,
have more people
correct.
looking to you for answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The number of people who look to me for answers during a meeting, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
look at Ryan. Hold on.
You're doing pretty good though. You're picking it
Yeah,
up.
you are. It's true.
Yeah.
Rate my last meeting out of 10. How did
That
I
was a
run
good meeting.
Okay.
You did good.
Okay.
That was a
six
solid
out of 7. What are we talking here?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like a solid 7.5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna go for 8, but yeah.
You're gonna go for 8?
I was
Yeah.
going for 8.
Yeah.
I mean, it rounds the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So cool. Okay, so I wanted to ask. We've
Yeah,
been
sorry,
talking
we've been talking
for
your ear
a
off.
bit, but this
I
is
am.
perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. And I know you all have big dreams. Is
Oh,
there
man.
anything specific in the next year that is different or new or exciting or just anything you want to talk about? Really,
And here on the question, like it says specifically the Burlington Lodge.
really, whatever.
Okay, 'cause
I am
I
being
have big
loosey-goosey.
dreams for like the actual like order, which is dying, and I would like it to not die.
And it cannot die by you joining today.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Oddfellows.org.
So on top of doing stuff here at the lodge, I'm going into Grand Lodge this like current year because I was Noble Grand last term. So I'm gonna get to put my little fingers in the pie there. But I'm also on the communications committee for the Sovereign Grand Lodge, which is like the highest level of the order, like the international order. And it is a mess. And I'm just we just revamped the website, which was not great. I'm trying to figure out how to like revive their social media. We're trying to get like a company to like redo our branding and redo some of our marketing so we can get like younger folks interested in joining a fraternal organization.
Can we redo the application, please?
I know. I know.
It says print
no,
PDF
there's so much.
on the
These
paper
are the
application.
big dreams.
Yeah, big dream. No, the big dreams is literally like I want people to be interested in this cool, weird thing, and our like media presence is horrible.
You guys are doing so good here, though. Like the painting on this building is such
okay.
a like
You pointed at
Okay.
me and I
a
pointed at you.
marketing
All
thing,
right.
and then the social media.
Socials
That's
are all
awesome.
you.
And Zach.
The
I
website,
do
like
mostly just the music social.
it's
but
very
yes.
good.
Zachary does the music. I do as much of the other stuff as possible. Ryan
The
made
mural,
the
I have
beautiful
to give a
mural.
shout out to Anthill Collective. They're a local group of artists. They are absolutely wonderful. The mural would not have been anything like this if we hadn't met up with them and found them through the selection process. So it was great.
It's beautiful. I really love the mural because I was like, "What is this building?" And I kept when I moved over to Mallett's Bay, I kept driving to Hannaford, and I would do the like whip it thing with my head. I'm like, "What is this building?" Okay. I drove by it. I don't know what it is still, but what is it?
So it's a great photo backdrop
Yeah.
for your socials if you want to like take a picture in front of our mural.
I had a lot of
We
high
should do
school
that.
students do their class photos here. I love that. Around that time, there's always little groups coming by, and it's great. Love it.
So cool. No, I love this community vibe that you've built here and continue to pump life back into because we need this. Like when you say, "Oh, we're rejoining this because the social structures are collapsing," like we need this, and I think people want this. The amount of times I've heard people my age talk about the lack of third spaces, everything's a bar. There's nothing open. There's nothing to do that you don't have to pay a huge amount of money for. There's no community, and none of us want to join churches, really. Like, I personally don't mind the whole spiritual aspect of things, but the rigidity of a church is always like, and then the whole coming from a Roman Catholic background, oh, there's some weird stuff going on that I don't want anything to do with. This is different though, and it's different in a really good way.
I should put a caveat on the church thing though, in that we do have, in order to join this organization, you need to believe in a supreme being, a creator of the universe.
Creator and preserver.
Creator and preserver of the universe. Whatever that means to you.
Right, and you can define that by anything you want to. Because
And we
does
have.
the flying spaghetti
And we
monster
do.
fit? Because he is supposed to be a supreme being.
Yeah.
Nobody
exactly.
nobody asks what supreme being you believe in.
Aren't getting
It
into a
is just,
theological
do
debate
you?
as soon as you walk in.
Yes.
It is just do you.
Right.
Yep.
Do what you want to do.
But there are.
But you
Yeah.
are signing something that says
You're
that.
signing something that says that there is Bible imagery around. We pray the Lord's Prayer during our meetings, which is has an interesting history, and we have been actively trying to change.
There's
we
a lot.
needed 3/4 of the vote at the international
were
level
one
to change
vote
that
off.
last year, and we missed it
It
by
was
one
me
vote.
and Ryan.
gonna
Me
do
and
it.
Ryan are taking the credit for that one, but
But-
we were one off.
Next year.
Yeah. Well, 2 years from now,
2
because it
years.
has to sit on the floor for a year.
So
it's
many
going to
rules.
happen.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's important to give those caveats because there's a lot of people who we would love for them to join, and they would love to join, and also there are parts of this organization that don't fit things that they believe in, and it is what it is. I hope someday we'll find a meeting ground somewhere in the middle, and but yeah, it is not for everyone, and I think for most people who join these days, there's a little bit of compromise involved. There's a little bit
Right.
of like,
Yep. Well,
this feels weird.
looking at that map, there's no way that Vermont had that many lodges. Like, most of these people were involved in churches. I almost guarantee
Oh,
it at the time.
yes.
They were part of the church. They were part of the Odd Fellows, and these things don't need to circumvent. I don't know. They don't need to supersede.
They don't supersede. One doesn't preclude the other. You know, and that's specifically discussed in a couple different places in our order, and one of which I think is the valediction.
Yeah, and the
Which,
valediction,
talks about how my home, my church, my temple, all these different places deserve my effort, pride, etc.
Modest pride. I don't remember it from memory yet.
So
Well, it's hung up on the wall, and you can go read
Yeah,
it.
that one's not secret. It's right there.
best work, my modest pride, my earnest faith, and my deepest loyalty.
There you go.
As I perform my duty
Yes.
to visit the sick, relieve the distressed.
We're not a
bury
cult,
the
though.
dead.
We're not a cult. We're just
We're not a
chanting
cult.
at you.
We're not a
We
cult.
just-
We're not a cult.
We just everybody turn here and say the thing you're supposed to say.
So one thing you ask about, like big dreams. So Teppi called me out as being a history nerd. I am a huge history nerd, and one of the things that I have spent a lot of time looking into is like, how do communities do well in moments of crisis? And whether that moment is because of a government, a war, a natural disaster, whatever it happens to be, there are certain things that unify places that do well, and one of them is very strong sense of community.
Yep.
And places that are more isolated, where people are looking out just for themselves, tend to, even the rich people do poorly there. Things don't go well when you are isolated from each other. And I think a lot of people look around and see that there are a lot of opportunities for crisis, and there's a lot of crises that are happening in a lot of places right now. And so my big dream for the lodge is to kind of start to de-isolate my little neighborhood around here and bring people together and build the kind of community that can be resilient through tough times. I think we've gotten a good start at it. And then I talk to, people like Everett and Roxy who have been at this a long time and ask them, well, what was it like when you were a kid? And they tell me these things that are like pipe dreams to me now. Like the idea of an entire community coming to the lodge for dinner 4 nights a week. Like, oh, I wish, like 150 families here every single night.
Kids
It's
just coming here
amazing.
right after school
Yeah.
to hang out and play.
Yeah.
And
Everett
then-
tells me how you used to get your medical care through the lodge, because if you wanted, you could get your own doctor if you wanted, but if you wanted to, you could pay $1 a week into the lodge fund, and then the lodge would have a doctor on payroll who would come to your house if you're sick.
That's really cool.
I mean, we're kind of looking into like, well, could we get a
FNP in
Yeah.
here,
yeah,
Right.
We were talking
you know,
about a co-op too at one point. Like we're just trying to figure out what are some of the issues in
tool
our community.
library.
Tool
What are
library,
the next
yeah,
thing
yeah.
we want to do?
What can we?
Yeah.
What kind of benefits can we give?
We're
Yeah,
going to be
the-
able to start recording music here now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
have a
I'm
little
very
mini
excited.
recording studio. but-
If you could you need to entice the people in the trades.
Yeah.
Because if you could get a community vibe for that, because, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
the housing situation is so terrible. And especially in Vermont, our elderly people are living in frozen houses that are so dirty, and they like can't get upstairs. Like they're stuck in their kitchen. And that's one of the things my whole life I've been like, oh my God, I want to help these people. I do not have the skills. Like I am not the one who can replace.
That's why
walls.
the Oddfellows have a nursing home and a bunch of retirement apartments, is because like those were originally built for members. And the idea was like, oh, when you get old, you know, you can go live with your brothers and sisters in the order, all in these, you know, joint apartments. And then when you get really old, you can all go to the same nursing home. These days, there's very few members in either one because there's very few members left.
Right.
It's mostly non-members.
It's really sad that was like one of the last big pushes is like we need a place for our elderly people.
Well, we have a summer camp up in Maine too for kids, and that's great.
I
I
forgot to
love the
mention
camp.
that.
Neofa. I've been
that's
thinking
cool.
about when do I talk about
My
Neofa?
kid goes there. Yeah,
I'm on
all
the
these
board
things.
for Neofa. You're on the board for the home.
I'm on the board for the retirement home, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's it. I feel like we could probably talk for another hour.
Easily.
This is why what I was saying about like having a podcast where you could get in depth on this stuff. I could actually see that making sense for this place because there's so much. There's so much to do for the community. A community is very complex and it's been neglected for a long time. But you guys are doing it. That's the important part. Like it's actually coming together. It's insane that you went from like you were number 5 or there were 5 people. So
There
you
were 5
6.
people. I was
You
number
need
6.
5 to be a functional lodge, so he just barely
It was
in there.
like barely functioning.
A month
as
after I joined, one of those 5 became housebound and dropped out. So
Well, shout out
was
to
about to get
Everett
sold.
here too. Everett,
huge
pulled
shout
you-
out to Everett and Roxy.
Right, he
Yeah.
made it.
Like-
he
They're
made
the
it
best.
work.
He's like everyone's grandfather. We love Everett.
Yep.
Aw, he's like the patriarch of
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
place.
he really is.
We
though.
make him a birthday cake every year. 'cause
Good.
You never know.
Oh, so cool. Okay, so anything? What's the website for you guys again? Can you rattle off the URL?
BurlingtonOddfellows.com.
Yeah, BurlingtonOddfellows.com. Sometimes it's like I try to remember because our socials is like Oddfellows BTV, and then like our emails like Oddfellows BTV, but our website BurlingtonOddfellows.com.
Yes, and there are a couple links in the footer to the Instagram, which you are streaming the music on, which is super cool. There's all sorts of cool pictures. Anything else that we should mention? Join the Oddfellows.
Please join.
I will
if
say
you
that.
want.
Join a community, even if that's it. Even if you're not hugely involved, if you just want to be a part of something.
If you ever want to just do stuff,
I
it's a
mean,
great vehicle for it.
if you don't want to join the Oddfellows, find another one of these fraternal organizations, Rotary, Elks, Lions, whatever is in your
Go be a
neighborhood.
moose or whatever.
You'll be shocked at the amount of money that every single one of these organizations has, how desperate they are for young members, and young in these organizations means under 70.
I was going to say under 50, but that's true.
And like, if you join these and you're willing to show up, you will have a say in how to spend an unbelievable amount of wealth that is locked up in these old clubs and is meant to be put out there for the good of the community. Like, find one, join it, and you can do a lot.
Yeah, you could actually do something that matters.
Yep.
Yeah. So cool. Okay. Ryon, Teppi, Zachary, thank you guys so much. This was really fun. I want to ask more questions.
I know.
It's time. We got to cut it off.
Thank you for
Yep.
having us.
Thanks.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Okay, show notes, vermonttalks.com/62, and I'll have links to everything and a lot of pictures and anything else we can think of we'll put on that webpage. Thank you again.
Yay.
Have a good one, everybody.
Yay.
Thanks so much for listening to the end of the show. Subscribe to Vermont Talks on your favorite podcasting platform. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all over the web. Contact Becca at vermonttalks.com if you'd like to be interviewed or if you know someone who should be. Thanks so much to Jason Baker for creating the show music. The views and opinions expressed by the guests are those of the individuals and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Vermont Talks. Any content or statements provided by our guests are of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, anyone, or anything. And that's what was new in the 802. Have a great day.